Welcome, Sojourners. This is Jonathan with Sojourners Awake. This is the second part of the episode, Heroes Feast. After the heroes had feasted and sustained themselves with a long rest, they decided to take Zariel up on her offer, but then were sidelined when Belle made a counter offer. I think this was a great interlude, and roleplay situation, and the Sojourners did wonderful. But let's find out which path they take. Felthrin, a shiver goes down your spine. And you begin to hear the voice, "I am first. I am knocking at your door. And I'm almost here." And you hear the yips and the yelps of hyenas beginning to cackle in laughter. The bones snap beneath their feet. Their saliva sizzles on the ground. The hunger begins to grow, and you see before you a land unlike Avernus, completely wasted and sharp and miserable, even more so than you are now.
I don't want to listen to you. I know there was a time when this place was not as bad as it is now, and it continues to get worse. I am here for my party. I'm here for the greater good. I am not here for myself. But, no, I will not listen to you.
Felthrin begins talking out loud to himself. Hey, how do you respond to this?
I think he's used to having quiet conversations by himself anyway, so it's not that big a deal. He does find it a bit out of the ordinary for the rather stolid dwarf to be doing it, but I think he's more concerned about finding more places to hide some of these delicious bugs while the conversation is going on.
She stops for a moment. "This is news to me indeed, for this is a carrier, a giant slug swollen with gas and air and demons from the abyss, and no doubt carries a certain demon lord. This is why we have been unable to track Ginnigu. He is cloaked in darkness, funded by Mad Maggie." And then she points to your fingers, Bramble. "I see you have sampled some of this potion. Well, now, tell me, Garandal, why did you leave? You are here now. I offered you so much and even protected your party as you fell from the airship, the giant's castle. You speak of this Lathander. I remember now, Lathander, the god of birth, the god of the dawn. I don't think you understand what I am trying to do. I am trying to fight back the evil. And if I have to pragmatically siphon off the life of others and their dedication to the afterlife and take away their retirement home so that we can get back to work, I do not see what the problem is in that. If Lathander had his way, he would have let the blood war sizzle into overflow and overboil into all the other planes. And then what do you do with those souls? They'd be taken away into the abyss. Sure, I might imprison people, but I imprison them for resources and for a purpose. Can you really say that you would rather live this life than become a Sergeant McCormick or a Professor Banks?
I could say that I would like the chance to choose. And yes, lady, you were very gracious to come through for us at that time. And I have fulfilled that mission not just once, but again, Lord Vollmer is out of your hair. Excuse me. Beard hair. Looks good. But lady, I hope that I am forgiven for what I have done for Lord Neverember. He was a man trapped by choices that he made for what he thought was the greater good.
I need every resource I can get. I have no right to hold that against you, for you operated within the laws of Avernus. But yes, I did notice my soldier missing, and right now I can use every asset available to me. So like I said before, you have a choice, and it's true. Are you friend or foe? What do you decide to do now, Mr. Garandan Greybeard?
Well, lady, you have been fair. You have fed us. You have asked questions instead of striking us down as we have been on your plane. We have helped you a couple times without proper authority. I believe I speak for all of us when we say we want to go home. And we want to make sure there is a home to go home to. So if this is what you would have for us, then we will do this thing.
She gets ready to slam her hand down on the table and then stops when you say, do this thing. So you agree to defend the docks?
If my friends agree, I do not speak for them.
She kind of just rubs her temples and says, this is why democracy does not work.
This is
We
not
sit around these
democracy.
and it is not working. We are wasting time. Someone, please make a decision, or God's help me, I will become your leader. This level of indecisiveness is driving me crazy. Someone,
go.
please.
We will go.
We'll go.
My pressure is resting now. Wonderful. Sergeant McCormick and Professor Banks will assist you. You will be given a buggy, and my driver there will take you to the Stygian docks. Would you please accept my hospitality in sampling any supplies you might be lacking? And she presents a collection of armor, weapons, rations, food, and any weird things, including a ton of trinkets that she has offered to you. Hey, out of that pile, do you see anything that you are particularly in need of?
Yes and no. He's looking at some of the armor, and suddenly something that the lady has been whispering to him over and over and over in his mind makes sense. And so he's basically tapped into a hidden amount of power that is basically a new invocation that appeared at level 18. Aside from that, I don't know that anything that you listed would look particularly useful to him.
This is a archduchess of one of the layers of hell. I mean, if you can imagine it, it is probably here. So if you don't think of anything in the moment, Bramble, would there be anything that you are particularly missing? It's like a free loot stash. So within reason.
Can always use some more fancy bolts of some kind. Not necessarily silver tipped ones, but something along those lines.
Okay. You do find, I'm going to say 2 exploding rounds.
Okay.
Yeah. Just simple crossbow bolts. But let's say they're going to do a 3d6 damage upon contact in an area. Felthrin, you're kind of looking at the stash. Anything that you're sampling from this armory, this supplies chain?
Felthrin looks at all of it, and then he remembers that the stuff that he is using came from his good god, and decides that all he's going to do is go back to the feast and reload his his skin with some ale and stick a little bit of food in his bag, and he's not going to touch anything that the lady offers.
Zerion, if there's any supplies that you're lacking, this would be a good place to stock up. Anything that you're in particular need of?
Money, coin, gold.
Yeah.
He's a worldly druid.
Tax. Anything that's worth a lot that I need. Does it have to be coin? It could be anything valuable, anything that I can use.
So
Awesome.
here's something you find. Here we go. Roll a d20 for me, Zerion.
D20. All right, here we go.
Yeah, just a d20, no modifiers or anything.
Small table. 14.
Okay. Okay, so you see it. It's a brochure. It says Vacations in Vacatino, and it's a contract. For the price of your soul, you get an eternal view of the torture labyrinths. Rules and restrictions may apply. Sign here. This is a antique contract that was rescued from the desolate city of Vacatino. Vacatino used to be the it place, the pleasure island on Avernus long before it became a wasteland. And you just happen to see it's kind of like nestled in between a chink of armor. As you like look through this leather vest, it kind of falls out. Seems that the curators have completely forgotten it. And you know that a devil, who is particularly one who collects curated items, would love to get their hands on this antique heirloom from the ancient city of Vacatino. For many devils, long for the war to be over so they can get back to play, including Bell, the former duke. This is worth 5,000 gold.
Oh, of course, I am taking that and putting it away for later use.
Okay. No check required. You quickly just
Just
put it right into your bosom pocket and just cover it really quickly, knowing that you just got your hands on this accidental find. Garandan, you're looking in this pile, anything you're particularly caring for?
The Garen's not looking for anything, but while he's looking at these weapons, he sees a sword, and he remembers, and like something just makes his head snap to Captain Bell, and says, "I'm looking for a sword by the name of Angel Strike."
His eyes cut over to the side. Zariel's out. And Bell says, "Captain, I think the war machine needs some inspection. Would you mind taking care of it for me?" The room is quiet. He strikes his left temple, and each of you feel a ping in your head as your head just racks with a headache instantly and then dissipates. And he says, "We're all standing here. I am Bell, former Duke of Avernus. I have briefly paused time for a second to give us a chance to talk. You know, Avernus can be quite surveilling. Hope all of you are enjoying the place. I promise it used to be far fancier and much more appealing to mortals than this god-awful wasteland. You did speak of a sword. The reason Zariel did not appear to know who Moonglow and Talus was is because I wiped her memory. I cleansed her from it, and the day she became a fiend, linking herself to Asmodeus, she lost all semblance of knowledge. For that is the way with fiends. We only remember from the day we became a fiend. We have no concept of our former lives. Sergeant McCormick, Banks, even Zariel, even myself, has no memory of who we once were. I could have been a frog in a lily pond for all I know, or even a god. You spoke of Angel Strike. It is true. I buried it far away. Well, Moonglow did. And then I wiped Moonglow's memories. I can't afford to have angels running around wrecking everything, but since you mortals know of it, Zariel made you an offer. You say you want to save Bonzaro. Zariel will win, and her haughty, ambitious, prudish, do-gooder attitude will conquer every plane she gets her hands on. Do you not agree? Do you really think she'll stop here? You help her rebuild her ducks, and then she will keep going for more and more and more. She has no end, even as Medeus is sick of her initiative and her overzealousness. If I had my way, she would be either annihilated or turned back into a cherub floating in heaven playing the harp. Felthrin, when you hear all this information, you have a short chance to communicate to Bel telepathically in the hearing of the Sojourners.
So, you want her to go away. You want to be in charge again.
You said it, not me. And you can see how he's so choosily carefully his words, and he looks around really quick, checks his surveillance, and says, I would give anything to get her out of here.
Well, we don't care much for this place, but we do care much for our plane, and we care about accomplishing whatever will allow Bonzaro to be the least affected by what's going on down here.
Sorry, you don't have all worked with her. You know that she can be overzealous. Even then, she tried to recruit poor Garandan once again back into her damn army. But deal with me, Sojourners. Find Angel Strike, bring it back to her, and convert her back to her holy form. Change her back into an angel, I do not care. And if she doesn't accept the sword, kill her where she stands.
Retrieving the sword for her will bring her back to being an angel.
Is that true? I had no idea. Interesting. And he cunningly winks at you. Yes, well, that is news to me. So the Angel Strike will remind Zariel of who she once was. What a brilliant idea, Master Dwarf.
Felthrin looks very confused, but kind of excited, and he looks at Bramble and Garandan.
I wonder, Bel, about what Avernus might have been like before it became this.
Under my rule, it was a mortal's paradise, a devil's paradise, a place where fiends and fae, all kinds of elves and satyrs, we even had a few visits from the Archfey themselves, Queen of Air and Darkness, and Lord Oberon at times. It became a beautiful place, a place of absolute decadence and indulgence in every way, quite like your hero's feast. Simple pleasures in life, son. Oh, I would see it revered, helped like that again, but we are in the midst of a war. We've got the enemy on the run. We've got the support of the nobles and the lords of the other planes. If Zariel wasn't so overzealous, she would pull back a little bit. Let the demons win some, perhaps come to some kind of agreement, and then we could further our resources to rebuilding Avernus, bringing back Vacatino, bringing back commerce and tourism. Can you see the excitement?
I can see your excitement, but I also, from your description, I understand how Avernus got this way. Those things sound like treats, and you can't have a treat every day.
I have humbly learned my lesson, and I admit I see the value in diligence and hard work like Zariel possesses. let's just say I do have fresh blood in the mix. Diligent soldiers. They are waiting in the wings.
And so if we were to help you with Zariel, you think you could affect a plan to make Avernus, to contain Avernus, to bring it back to some semblance of what it was before, with your lessons learned, of course.
If I know anything, the reason you are here is because a group of gnolls and demons have spilled over into your plane. Remember something. Devils always knock. Demons go through the back door. Avernus will continue to operate as it always has. As Garandan said, it's all about choice. Never before has a devil been spawned without signing their own will. Demons, however, it's a daily prison riot. So yes, I guarantee you, Avernus will be contained. That doesn't mean that folks will not want to visit and do business with us. It is quite tempting. We are very skilled at understanding greed, lust, and pride. It's buried within every mortal. We just simply refuse to ignore that. Demons, however, they don't care about your soul, they just want to eat.
Serena has told me about what Avernus was like, Bramble. And I don't claim to be the smartest among us, but the possibility of restoring this to a former glory and freeing the lady to becoming an angel again. These are things that seem to promote the greater good to me. I think we should listen.
I at least like the idea of restoring choice.
Well, full disclosure, it would still be her choice. Only this time, instead of making the decision as an angel, becoming a fiend, she would be a fiend deciding to become an angel. You could see that he begins to rub his hands together, excited at the prospect that this thorn in his side would finally be removed. As he grins at each of you, surveying what luck. Hay has also run into a little bit of luck. A small spell scroll. And on that spell scroll, Hay, what do you find?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it depends on what level you're willing to give me.
10th, 11th.
I would say at least a 5, and then I'm going to roll a d4. So here we go. A 4. You find a 9th level spell. Wow. Hey, so it's so interesting about this spell. It is actually a pretty gruesome thing. Very gruesome thing you find. It looks like a water skin. And it's got a goat's head attached to it, as if the creature itself was not completely and humanely skinned. It was just gutted and then resewn. And on this goat skin, you find the markings that are written in Sylvan, the language of the Feywild. And you're starting to realize that at a time in the long past, many Fey creatures did frequent the wonderful land of Avernus. And on this spell scroll, or on this goat skin, is written a 9th level spell.
Okay, well, I'll let you roll a d4 again.
Okay.
And there's only 4 spells left that I can tap into here.
A 4.
True Polymorph.
Very appropriately written on the skin of this infernal goat.
That's going to be fun. So I'll treat this as a my 9th level Arcanum also.
Okay.
So I have 2 now. That's great. Thank you.
Bell continues to cease the transmission as he senses that Zariel is coming back in. Bell winks and says, "Consider my offer." And he leaves the contract with each of you, and he bugs out on the side outside of Zariel's presence. He does a double take back outside to keep it obvious that he has just been conversing with you, and you hear him berating the sergeant outside. I told you to expect the war machine. Why is it so hard to find good hellbeer? He throws back his robe and he kind of hobbles faintingly with his staff, portraying himself as an old, simple devil. Zariel walks back in very confidently and says, "Well, the war machine is ready. I have given you the dragon wagon. You will find quite appropriate that it used to be in the wars with Tiamat. So I thought that it might be appropriate for you who pushed her back from your own plane to be driving the dragon wagon. It will comfortably seat about 4 of you. I think one of you might have to fit in the sidecar. I hope that is okay. My officer will escort you as you get accustomed to driving a war machine and take you to the Stygian docks. I, however, have many pressing issues. Sadly, my job comes with many politics, and I have to convince Mammon to further finance my war, so I will go off on my mission, and you will go off on yours." She smiles, assuming that you are proceeding to the Stygian docks. She is preparing to turn around and leave. She is leaving your presence unless you decide to inform her of the conversation you just had. Bramble, it's up to you.
Nope. Bye.
I do tug at the hem of her whatever. And would it be helpful if we helped to repair? I know you want us to defend, but would it help to speed things up if we were to help with the repairs too?
I would be quite impressed if you were able to do both. I would prefer to delineate the tasks. Repairs, stay with the repairs, work with their 2 hands, and defenders keep their eyes open. It is the best way to do things.
As you wish.
Zarion, she does a double take at you, and then Bell whispers in your head. And only Zarion can hear this. You know, you don't look like someone from Greyhawk. You smell more like an angel than a tiefling. Devils don't have wings, but angels do.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Oh, what am I talking about? What? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm from Greyhawk.
Sure you are. And for now, his voice ceases, and then he hops in the war machine with one hand, waves his staff around, and gives you a wink.
What was that all about? I don't know.
How does this process for you?
Angel. Nobody didn't tell me anything about an angel. I have no memories of an angel. This guy shows up and tells me that angels have wings. I have wings, but maybe I might just be different for some reason. Maybe it's because I'm from Greyhawk. I don't really know. You must know something I don't.
As you look at this food that you prepared, you realize something. You've included food from Avernus as well, not just Greyhawk. And you look around and it suddenly occurs to you, what does food with Greyhawk taste like? What does it look like? Doubt begins to fill your mind. How do you wrestle with these thoughts?
Confused. What he just told me will build a whole lot of stuff I don't really know about myself. I don't even know what Greyhawk is. I haven't seen the place. I just have it in my memories and the dreams. I don't even know who I am. All I know is getting away from Mad Maggie. That's all I know. Everything else will come later. If it comes.
And then a fair-looking elf. He is tall. His bones are lithe. He's scrawny and skinny, yet he walks with agility and ease. He has long black hair that's pulled back into a ponytail, and he's covered with infernal tattoos. His eyes are large, round, and black, and they stretch all the way across, covering his temples. His nose is flat, and he opens up his hands to you and says, "All right, hey, welcome to the Dragon Wagons. So, we getting you boys to the Stygian docks? Come on. My name is Farius, and I'm going to be your driver and show you all around. So who wants to drive the Dragon Wagon?"
We'll be out in a minute.
Oh, yeah, sure. Y'all need to get your things together. No problem. I'm just going to be driving my machine, and the broken one, not going to lie, it needs a little bit of repairs. I'll give you the manual, and y'all can pretty much fix it. But we got a lot of rubber to burn, so we need to move out. And we got a firestorm coming in, so I bet you boys don't want to get roasted. We better hurry it up. But I'll give you a couple minutes to get your things together. All right. And he leaves you, Felthrin, to your business with your team.
How do we get the sword on the way to the docks?
Lose the guide, one way or another. But I don't really know where we're going. It sounds like nobody knows exactly where it is.
Do we go to the docks first and then find the sword after?
We might have to. I wouldn't know where to look, and I wouldn't want to just, dig holes till we find it.
What about
Not
your
here.
map?
Yep.
Bramble, you look at your map.
Do I see anything? Any other strange symbols?
Yes. There is a spot where Bell has written his initials, very casually, on this undisclosed area in the wasteland.
I have locate object. If anything, I might be able to help in locating that sword. If anyone has something that resembles close to it or something similar, I can cast that cool little spell. We can be on our way.
You have this signal on the map. And I'll look up locate object. How are the rest of you responding to Felthrin?
So we have 2 vehicles. Can some of us go and set up defenses and get a lay of the land? And then some of us go and say we have to pick up something from a friend or whatever we left lying around, and then meet us there.
Who owns the second vehicle?
So Farius is the driver of the first vehicle. It's a lot bigger. And then your dune buggy, Volkswagen Beetle, is the Dragon Wagon. He's going to teach you how to drive one, and you're going to caravan together to the Stygian docks. That was the plan.
Can we knock him out after he teaches us? And we take both of them?
There's a crew with him.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, so you could. Y'all could
take on the whole team.
You could. Yes, you could easily. You could with a battle take the team. Yeah, you could. It would be a battle, but
be quick about it.
Maybe I can ride along with Farius and his team, and you guys can get conveniently lost. And I will try to convince him that you'll catch up. I know that I can handle myself at the docks until you get there.
But I don't know that you're the best convincer when what you're saying is not necessarily true.
Okay, good
We
point.
have a map. We can show him that just in case we get lost.
You're right, Bramble.
there is an elf, there is a werewolf, 2 hobgoblins, and 5 devils.
Look, I can cast cloud. Not, hey, they think it's an ambush. We can blame it on it. We can blame it on the enemy. Let that be that. You say somebody ambushed us.
Shout over the hill, is that bad, Maggie? And then just start running.
How are you planning on dividing us up then, if we're splitting up?
Well, splitting up. I need someone strong with me because I'm fairly weak. I can act as support, but I need someone strong to tag along with me, and the rest can defend. We're just trying to find a sword at this point, so that's all we need to do. If we run into any trouble, I'm pretty sure someone like Feltrin to tag along. I can support him with my spells, and he can knock somebody out with the hammer. And the rest of y'all go deal with the defense, and we'll try to get there as soon as we can.
I think Bramble's better at finding things.
Well, however we want to do it. I'll support.
Do we have to split up? Maybe we all stay together.
That would be my preference.
Bramble's small. He can sit somewhere small.
That's fair.
Are we gonna go do the hay balloon again?
That was fun.
You might need a windshield if we're going faster, though.
I just have little insects in my teeth.
Yes.
The insects here are softball size.
Yeah.
Hey, you fellas about done in there? Time's a wasting. The 9 suns are starting to set. It's getting dark.
Zarian, you're driving, so let's get out there, and if we turn off, they can follow us or not.
All right, you one-horned tiefling, get yourself over here. I'm gonna show you how this works, okay? You just sit right here up in the driver. It's really jolting everything. The only problem is we haven't had a chance to repair it, so there's always a chance when you ignite the ignition, it's gonna blow right up in your face. Fire ain't a problem with you, ain't that true?
No problem at all.
That's what I wanted to hear. Although it'd probably be pretty awesome if you just lit up in flames and you were driving into a demon horde. That's the way to strike fear in your enemies. And then you look upon the dune buggy and you see that there's these spears and spikes that are sticking up outside the fender, and impaled upon those spikes are the remains of demons that met their end. A couple elves and even some humanoid skeletons. It's quite a grisly sight in this obsidian dune buggy. All right, everybody pack in. He opens up the sliding van door and carries the rest of you in, and then he looks around and says, "That's gonna get a little tight. And then we probably should ride with one of y'all just to make sure everything's okay. I'm gonna be driving, so I'll get Stormbite. Get your furry self over here." And he introduces this lumbering werewolf. Yeah. Hey, Stormbite, you just sit with him. Who's gonna ride in the sidecar? Stormbite, he ain't pretty much one for riding outside. Any volunteers? All right. Well, you do have the shortest lifespan, so it makes sense that you ride along with him. Have a seat. He pushes you into the sidecar, and Stormbite squeezes his large body inside, squishing Bramble up against the window, pushing y'all inside. And Zarion, if you would make a go ahead and make just a D20 roll to start the ignition. 10. It starts and rumbles, and you feel the engine, Felthrin, behind you flare up, and you feel the heat of the old dwarven forges. But instead of fire, you hear screams of demons, as this engine is powered by the blood of demons that have been killed in battle. You see the gas tank underneath you pumping with all kinds of translucent lines of demon blood siphoning through this machine, and it rumbles, and you put your foot on the gas, Zarion. And Stormbite says, "Not so fast! Oh, whoa, whoa!" And you begin to tear off through the wastelands of Avernus. And in this closed corridor, Bramble, you have a sense in this cramped minivan tearing through the wastelands. Whether it's inside the van or outside, I'm not sure. What is Bramble's sense during this time?
There's a very strong smell coming from his seatmate. This is definitely an unwashed mass right next to me.
Yeah, he's pretty terrible. The horrible smell of wet dog just fills up. I mean, it's reeking.
Plus burnt hair at the same time.
Felthrin, you have a sense during this time. What are you sensing?
Beltherin is visually taking in all of the stuff. He's had a couple bad experiences with letting other people drive vehicles, so he was paying close attention when Zarian was learning, and so he's just head on a swivel, watching and taking in the landscape, remembering what the map said, which direction the sword is versus which direction the dock is, watching Zarian, making sure that he's doing what he was instructed to do, and ready to jump in if he has to, remembering some less awesome times in the past. So
I see Feltherin in the back seat, just so loud as this engine's just piercing through your ears, and you're trying to peer past the fur and Bramble's furry head, his curly head, and you can see Zarion just having a hard time gripping, because Zarion's not the strongest creature, and there's no power steering on this thing at all. And as he's dodging, there's like these ravines, and he bumps and jolts and shakes off to the side, and hey, your car is just going up and down and up and down. Garandan, you were having a sense during this time, sitting next to Feltherin in the back.
Of the screams from marching in the war, being in the Infernal Legion, and so he is not enjoying this ride at all. He is just sitting there, head down, just trying to drown it out and think of something better. Think of
a very dark time for Garandan indeed. Hey, you are outside, and there is no, there's no shield at this point, so the dust is kicking up in your face, along with the bugs in your teeth. One of the crustaceans, the Hornistars that are swarming, just smacks you upside the cheek and leaves a red whelp on your left side of your face. But you have a sense outside here. What would that be?
So in addition to the rush of the warm wind over my face as we're zipping along, I'm having the breath knocked out of me by all the jolting, and so I'm trying to get my lungs underneath me. And after that strike by the crustacean, I fish out one of the empties, or I like scoop out the meat and eat it, so my cheeks are bulging, and I just take the shell and put it on my head like a helmet. Trying to do something to protect myself out here.
Hey, you're the only one who hears this, and Zarion, as you hang on to this machine, you see in the cracked rear view mirror a fractioned kaleidoscope image of Sergeant McCormick running as fast as he can to catch up. Wait! Don't forget, sir! He's just running as fast as he can, booking it back and forth, and you can tell he's got a little bit of a limp, and he's running. He does a diving leap, and he reaches to catch towards you, Hay. And now he is riding on the sidecar, and it leans the van a little bit over to the side. Bramble, you squish into the side of this werewolf, and he's, hey, stay on your side, pushing you back up against the window. Sergeant McCormick gets settled in a little bit and says, all right, Mortal Maggot, we're in the ride of our lives. Say, did I ever tell you about the Battle of Bridge of Foulhorn? Our troops held back the line until reinforcements arrived. We got assaulted and from the dormant demons beneath the river. Me and Captain, we set a trap. Yeah, and he just continues to talk and everything. And the Captain, you see, he stayed behind. He just carries on. He stayed behind, and he set off that trap, and he told me courage, sacrifice, ways to go. And then he shows you a devil's finger, and he just holds it up and just shows it to you very emphatically. And he gave me this to remind me. And he tucks it back under his red skinned shirt. And he just holds up and he begins singing, we are the Infernal Legion. We are the Infernal Legion. We are the Infernal. Zarion, if you would make an athletics check to maintain control of the vehicle.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay. 14.
Zarion, you see it coming, the bump, the rock, and you pull really hard, very hard. In fact, a little too hard, and the steering wheel comes off.
Oh.
And the rest of you go flying up into the air. So I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw to stay on the dragon wagon. Hay with disadvantage. Garandan. Bramble good. Felthrin good. Zerion great. Good. And what did Hay get? A 2?
I rolled a 4.
Okay. So Hay, you fail. Garandan, you fail.
But as soon as I'm up in the air, I'm casting levitate.
Okay. Yeah, you just bump and you spin. You're completely suspended in the air. Sergeant McCormick goes diving into the dirt. Garandan, how do you fail?
So I see Hay start falling, but he's not paying attention because he's got his head down, and he's just not sensing it. And then all of a sudden it bumps, so he looks up, see Hay, and he quickly dives out for him. And that's how he fails.
Interesting fail. Yeah, well done. So Garandan and Hay go tumbling into the desert. The rest of y'all crash to the side, and the dragon wagon comes to a skidding halt, and this horrible sputtering sound pops. The muffler makes this noise, and black smoke emits. And driving off about 50 feet away, you can see that the larger war machine comes to a slow halt. And the werewolf looks at you, Zerion, and slaps you in the back of the head and says, "Thought you knew how to drive."
Look, your owner gave me a busted wagon, okay? I ain't drive. There's no good driving with a busted vehicle. Why don't we use his and y'all drive this one, since he knows how to drive better than me?
He does a hard eye roll, slumps back in the seat, and looks at Bramble and sneers.
Or you could walk and give us some space.
Okay, and with that, he actually gets out of the vehicle and waits for the repairs. Bramble, you get to close out the scene.
So the werewolf has to climb over Bramble to get out. And as he's, crossing in front, he's not being very careful about anything. So Bramble's twisting and dodging to avoid getting anything too close to his face. And once Stormbite is out, he just kind of closes the door and turns to Felthrin and said, "Well, you think we can fix it?"
Our story concludes. This concludes this fortnight's adventure of Sojourners Awake. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure to subscribe and do everything possible to stay informed about this podcast. And thank you very much to Tabletop Audio for their wonderful background sounds and ambiance. You can check them out at www.tabletopaudio.com. And may your story continue.